What up, guys? Today is our first how-to. It's the new setup for my channel, and today we're gonna do a how-to on how to cut your strings. I give plenty of lessons all the time. I see all sorts of wacky different things, so I want you guys to know how to cut your strings, even when it's not attached to a shaft, so you guys are good to go. It doesn't whack you in the face. Here's how to cut your strings. So the three supplies you need: new head, lighter, scissors. That's it. I love fire. Woo. So the keys to cutting your strings are making sure that you don't cut them too short. You want to make sure that you leave enough length so that you can retie it, or if it gets illegal, you can pull it out, retie it, come back. You don't want to leave yourself with little nubs, because then you're kind of stuck if it's illegal and you have to retie it, but you can't get it back together. So the goal is to leave like an inch, maybe a little less, depending on which strings they are. It's also really important to know what strings you're talking about. So these ones, the ropey ones, these are actual strings. These ones, the thicker ones, are leather. So the leathers are often these two outside ones. Those are the ones you don't want to cut. You do not want to cut your leathers, because these are the ones that you want to make sure wrap around your shaft, and you want to leave a little length, because rather than pull these strings, you pull these outside ones, you're gonna have a much more legal stick and can have a little more pocket with the middle ones. So you want to leave the leathers alone. Like the leathers, we want to make sure that these strings, these two middle ones right there that are attached to this runner, this channel, whatever channel you have, we do not want to cut those either. You can wrap those around your shaft. You can stick them in these holes right here, but we want to make sure that we don't cut them, because these four strings, these two leathers and these two middle channel ones, are the ones that determine how deep our pocket gets, and we don't want to mess around with those. When we're talking cutting, we're talking about all the side ones, okay? All right, so these two at the bottom, see how they're nice and long? This gray and white one we can easily cut. This red one we can cut a little bit. But these two down here, they're about an inch long. We don't want to touch those. See the difference? Able to cut a little bit, do not want to cut. On the flip side, these are the only two strings over here. These are the only two up here. We do not want to cut these. We can cut these a little bit. Cut, 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 no, no. All right, so when we cut, we're gonna take about an inch long, so about right there. Take our scissors, snip off. Take our scissors, snip off, and we're just gonna keep going around. These thicker ones, so these kind of red ones, the red ones that I'm talking about, we wanna leave those a little bit longer, because these two affect your pocket. So we can cut those like right near the end, but we don't want to cut them too far down. Whoops. That. We leave these alone, we leave these gray ones, and we do the same thing down here. So we can cut those there and there. Done. Step one is done. And this is where the lighter comes in. We cannot leave these strings like this. You see how these ones are starting to fray? If we leave them and do not burn them, our stick is just gonna continue to unravel. The strings are continue to unravel until we get the big puff balls. Then eventually it's going to work into the knot and up our stick. So we wanna make sure after we cut, we always light them, burn them a little bit. If you're young, get a parent to do this. We don't wanna burn yourselves. So all you're gonna do, you're here, and we just wanna do it enough to where the plastic kind of melts on top of itself. So we're not lighting it on fire, just a nice, easy little melt. We wanna make sure that all the strings are melted into it, and if it starts to sizzle, that's okay, just blow it out. We wanna make sure that there's no free string left behind. Same thing over here. Like so. These ones catch fire a little easier. that nice plastic, and you just make your way down the stick. So you don't have to hold it on for too long. Notice how I'm kind of rotating it between the two. Just like so. That. We're not lighting them on fire. This isn't a chance to light the house on fire. We're just cutting it like that. And you're done. So now that all your ends are taken care of, you're nice and small, you're not gonna get whacked in the face, you can attach this to a shaft. You can wrap these leathers around the shaft. You can wrap these things either in the shaft, in the little crevices, or around it again, and you're good to go. This is how you cut your strings, and make sure you don't cut them too small. Bye.